Hey guys, it's James Sanity, and I haven't done that intro in a very long time, but I'm doing it to bring you our MLBA Season 3 draft analysis for the Columbus Chew. No more are your Westerville Warlords. The Columbus Chew have replaced them, and we're here to win. We've never actually won a season of a league that wasn't our own league. So now that's going to change. We're going to win the MLBA Season 3. I'm confident in the team that I have, and I'm confident in the mindset that I have in order to win this season. But to win this season, we need a really good team. And let me show you the team that we got. So first, we have a little... I wanted a new Pokemon, but it was going to be hard for me to get one of those. The MLBA has a point-based draft system, and there's a lot of busted stuff in the draft. Like Genesect, like Mega Mawile, like even Naganadel to a point. So I was not going to get one of those things because I was 16th. I was last in the draft order. So I did not plan on getting one of those things, but I still wanted a new Pokemon. I wanted a Pokemon that I've never used before. So I picked up Boppet the Blacephalon, if that's how you pronounce Blacephalon. Or Blacephalon? I don't know. Blacephalon is how I'm going to pronounce it. Blacephalon is super cool, and not just because it looks super cool, it has a 151 base special attack stat. That's insane. That's really powerful, and combining that with a 107 speed stat, which isn't that bad, we're outspeeding base 100s here, then you're going to be hitting a lot of stuff really hard and pretty fast. And we even got an attack stat of 127, which means it is possible to run Blacephalon physical, and it's not even bad because that's 127 attack. That's not bad in anyone's books. Now let's dive into our coverage real quick, and it's kind of limited. We have Dark Pulse, we have Psychic and Psyshock, as well as our 2-stab Shadow Ball and whatever fire move you want to run on this thing. It gets quite a few, but It gets those 4 types pretty much, which is kind of disappointing in a way. But making up for that, we have its ability, Beast Boost. Obviously it's an Ultra Beast, so it does get Beast Boost. Where its number 1 stat, its highest stat, will be boosted, hence the name Beast Boost, by 1.5 every time this Pokemon gets a kill. And with a base special attack stat of 151, you're going to be getting a lot of kills, and it'll keep going up and up and up and up until you sweep the opponent's team. And that's my goal for this. Common sets run with Blacephalon include like Choice Scarf, Choice Specs, a lot of choice items. Because even if you Choice Scarf this thing, Choice Scarf doesn't affect your stat. Well, it does, but it doesn't affect your base stat. So whatever you put your EVs into, and whatever comes out on top, is going to be what's affected by Beast Boost. So you can Choice Scarf this thing into a really powerful attack, such as Mind Blown, and you can absolutely destroy things, except not really with Mind Blown, because it takes away 50% of your health. But if you knock it into like Fire Blast or something like that, then it'll do a hefty chunk of damage with your Choice Scarf, outspeeding a lot of things, and keep getting the Beast Boost on the special attack instead of the speed, which is really, really nice. And the same way goes for Specs. If you really need to kill something, if you really need to hit something especially hard, then I would run Specs Blacephalon just so you can kill that and still get that special attack boost and just run through teams. This thing is a sweeper. So I want to dive into one more thing real quick before I end off and go into our next Pokemon. And as you can see on the screen right now, we do have a Z Crystal on this Blacephalon. Yes, that's right. It's going to be able to use any Z move at once. So let's put it on Mind Blown. Mind Blown is an attack that has 150 base power. It's Fire type and it's special, and it has 150 base power. But it does take away 50% of your max HP. That's not that good. But when you put a Z Crystal on it, when you make it, what was this? I don't remember. But when you make it Firium Z then it's absolutely destructive. It'll kill most things in the game. Like, 90% of Pokemon in the game will die to this. And that's probably not even counting, like, first and second evolutions. That's probably counting, like, fully evolved Pokemon. That's very, very powerful. Firium Z Mind Blown is going to destroy things. And that doesn't mean you can't run other Z moves as well, like Shadow Ball Z or Psychic Z. It gets Psyshock as well, if I didn't mention that. So that's Blacephalon. It's incredibly powerful, and I'm super excited to be using it this season in the MLBA. But I really needed a Pokemon that would pair well with Blacephalon. I needed something that would be able to force the opponent to switch, U-turn, and then go into Blacephalon. I also needed something to take the attacks that Blacephalon can't take. So what I chose was Hornet the Landorus Therian. Now you might recognize that name. I had a Landorus Therian once before named Hornet, and he was in the Western Whalers, and he did very poorly. I'm looking at you, Hornet. You weren't that good that season. But he's here for redemption, and he's here to really make an impact, and really help out Boppet. Yes, I know I have crazy names. But Hornet is here to help out Boppet, and be a contender on his own. It's not just here to help out Boppet, you know? 145 attack is going to be destroying things, but you don't always have to run Landorus T offensive. You can run it defensive as well. I'll get more into that later. But let's go straight into its coverage. Its coverage is pretty hefty. It gets like superpower, like knockoff, like outrage, earthquake, stone edge, and fly. Though, who's gonna be running fly? Well, I'm gonna be running fly because I have a Z crystal on this thing. Z Fly, Supersonic Sky Strike, destroying lives. That's gonna be our slogan this season. Destroying lives, honestly. It's gonna be super, super exciting when we just sweep through every team in the MLBA and come out on top. But before I get too ahead of myself, let's focus a bit more on Landorus Therian. I wanted it because it got Stealth Rocks. Hazards are gonna be pretty important this season, especially considering the Uber's level threats that are around. So I wanted a really good rocker, and Landorus Therian is the definition of a really good rocker. But with a recent update in Ultra Sun Ultra Moon, it gets defog. So it can clear rocks as well. It can clear hazards as well. Which is really, really nice and makes its value go up significantly. And as I mentioned previously, it does get U-turn. So with the Intimidate ability, it can force people to switch, U-turn, and then I can switch into whatever I want. I can switch into a really powerful offensive threat, which, trust me, I have a couple left. But that doesn't mean that Landorus Therian can't be an offensive threat on its own. It's got set up like Swords Dance, like Rock Polish, which can really help it sweep through teams. If you've ever seen one of my videos before, if you've ever paid attention to the Western Whalelords, you know that I love going for sweeps and setting up. And this season, I'm really catering to that side of myself. I just want to set up. I just want to destroy things. You know, destroy lives. Destroy lives. But you can, as I mentioned earlier, you can run it offensive or defensive. You can run it defensive with, like, U-turn, Rocky Helmet. You can run it offensive with Choice Scarf U-turn. And I love U-turn. You can tell already that I love U-turn. It's one of my favorite moves in the game. Because it's not like Volt Switch, where you can't hit ground types. No, U-turn, you can hit it on anything. And that's my little mini rant on U-turn. But I mean, Landorus Therian, I think it's a super good pairing for Boppet, and a super good team with the rest of the Pokemon that I have coming up. But speaking of the rest of the Pokemon that I have coming up, let's move on to one of them. I wanted a Super Mega. Now, I originally wanted Mega Venusaur, but that was taken. So I can't have Mega Venusaur. So I thought to myself, okay, Well, there's no real Mega Pokemon like Mega Venusaur, so I'm just going to choose something totally out of the blue, totally different, and I think it works super well. Incoming Beta Male, the Mega Latios. Now, he's Beta Male because Mega Latios is better than Mega Latios in almost every regard, and a lot of people will agree with me on that. So he's not the Alpha Male, he is instead the Beta Male. But Beta Male, the Mega Latios, just because he's worse does not mean he's bad. Looking at his stats, they're really scary. His lowest stat is HP, which is 80, which is still decent. And his next lowest is defense, which is base 100. And his highest stat is special attack, higher than Blacephalon's at 160. And his speed is higher than Blacephalon's as well with 110. And his attack is higher than Blacephalon's as well with 130. So just like Blacephalon, he's mostly a special threat. But Latios can also run physical as well. I should say Latios Mega. I don't know about the regular Latios as much. But it can run physical as well. Now, looking at its moves, it gets tons of coverage. It gets like Energy Ball, like Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Surf, Psychic, Psyshock, Draco Meteor, and that's not even mentioning the physical coverage that it gets, which is like Waterfall and Zen Headbutt and Dragon Claw and Earthquake even. It gets quite a number of moves, like too many. But you can run this thing defensive. I'm not saying you can't. It does get Roost, so it does get that instant recovery that unfortunately Landorus still needs to get. And he does get Defog, which means Landorus doesn't always have to run Defog. I can run Defog on one of these bad boys and still run the other one super offensive. And I love running things offensive. You should probably know that by now. It gets the ability to Levitate, which means 2 Pokemon can now take the ground-type hits that Blacephalon can't take. I built this team around Blacephalon, and I'm going to keep it that way because I love Blacephalon, and I love the rest of the team, frankly. It even gets, guess what? Setup. Yes, it gets Setup. Dragon Dance and Calm Mind. Are you ready? Because I'm not. And as I mentioned earlier, you can run this thing special, you can run this thing physical, you can run this thing defensive, and that's what I really love about League, is Pokemon that can run a lot of different things, a lot of different things, different times. So, for example, if I'm facing a team with a lot of, like, special threats, I might wanna run my Latios Mega specially defensive, because it does have a special defense stat of 120. Which is not bad in the slightest. And it does obviously get Roost, so this thing can be a wall if it wants to be, and it can still be, it's not a passive wall. I wouldn't call it a tank, but it's not passive if you run it defensive. It's 160 base special attack. You don't have to invest in that to really hit things hard, to really destroy lives. Moving on, I wanted a physical Pokemon. I have Landorus, but I don't always want to be running that offensive all the time. So I wanted something really hard-hitting on the physical side, and 2 types that I don't have yet. Now, my philosophy when drafting is high-tier offense, low-tier defense, because if you don't have high-tier offense, then how are you going to break through any form of high-tier defense? This is the definition of high-tier offense. This is Shinoda the Weavile. Weavile dropped down to BL, and I can understand why, but I still think Weavile is a great Pokemon. Now, you know that I love Sour Cream, you know that I love Sneasel. Obviously, this is the evolution of Sneasel, so it's going to be a lot better. It really doesn't get any more moves, admittedly. It still gets Ice Skull Crash, it still gets Ice Shard, it still gets Pursuit, which is amazing, by the way, and it still gets Knockoff. And those are going to be your main 4 right there. But this thing suffers from what I like to call 3-slot syndrome, where it runs 3 moves all the time: Knockoff, Ice Skull Crash, and Ice Shard, and you have an option for that 4th move that really defines your Weavile set. You can put Swords Dance on there. You can put Fake Out on there. You can put like a fighting type move on there, like Power Up Punch or Brick Break or Low Kick, depending on the situation. You can put Shadow Claw on there. You can put X Scissor on there. You can put Poison Jab on there for fairy types. Poison Jab is going to be great. Just saying. But you know how this thing works. Everybody does. Weavile hits things really hard with two very powerful offensive typings being Dark type and Ice type. Its stats aren't the greatest. It has 120 attack, which is the same as Mega Latios, if I'm correct? No, Mega Latios has 130. But 120 is still not bad. And 125 speed is going to be outspeeding, like, a lot of things. So Weavile's main strengths are its attack and speed. It's not going to be living hits, but its main strengths are attack and speed. Now, if you want to run Calm Mind on this thing, good luck, because it has a 45 special attack. I didn't even know why I mentioned that, but I figured it was necessary. Anyway, common sets for this include, like, Swords Dance, Pursuit, Life Orb, Focus Sash are two common items right there. It's really, really kind of one-dimensional if you think about it, which turns me off a little bit. But still, I had to draft it because, I mean, it's Weavile. It fits so perfectly on the Columbus Chew. I just needed it. Its ability is unimportant. I'm not even going to go over that. Next up, we have a returning Wailord from multiple seasons. Zmon, that I decided to place as a Zmon. And for good reason. It's Game Time, the Vaporeon. I was originally going to go with another water type, I forget which, but that ended up being taken. So, Vaporeon it is. And honestly, I'm not that sad. I'm not sad at all about it. I love Game Time. Game Time has a 130 hit points, which is pretty good for Vaporeon standards. And it's not going to be very passive either. One thing I hate is passive Pokemon. I will never draft Chansey or Blissey. I can tell you that right now. I will never draft those two because I think they're just way too passive. But Vaporeon is not that. Vaporeon has 110 special attack, which is not bad. So those Scalds are going to be hitting relatively hard. Now, this is another Pokemon that suffers from 3-hit syndrome. Or not 3-hit syndrome, 3-move slot syndrome. It runs Scald, it runs Wish, it runs Protect. Now, the fourth move is really going to define what your Vaporeon is. You can run Hydro Pump with Wide Lens if you're someone like me. You can run Haze. You can run Heal Bell. You can run Baton Pass. You can run anything you want. But the reason I made this a Z Pokemon is Z Heal Bell, which restores Vaporeon's HP to full. So if I'm ever really, really low or get really, really low and I can't wish up, Z Heal Bell's where it's at. It recovers my HP all the way up to full. And if I'm correct, still does the Heal Bell effect? Maybe? I don't know. I think it still does. But, yeah. It gets Water Absorb, which a lot of people forget and a lot of people overlook. But switch this in on like a Mega Gyarados on like a Manaphy, and you'll recover some HP, which is nice. There's not a lot to say about Vaporeon. It's relatively one-dimensional like Weavile. But I still needed to pick it up. It's my first lick of defense on the team. And I honestly, I love Vaporeon. I can't stress that enough. I really can't. But next up, we have a new Pokemon, a Sun and Moon Pokemon that I've never used before. Like, ever. Not even in Ladder, not even in League, well, I used it in the games. But, you know. So I guess I have used it. Whatever. It's Blindside the Decidueye. Now, the thing with Blindside is he can be run offensive or defensive. You can run it with Roost and Defog. Again, yet another Defogger on the squad. You can run Roost or Defog, or you can run Choice Specs with Brave Bird. Didn't I mention it gets bird coverage? Because it does. And that's fun. U-turn, and, like, not Seed Bomb, but Leaf Blade preferably. Now, there's a special Ghost-type move that I want to cover, and that is Spirit Shackle. Spirit Shackle is an 80 base power Ghost-type physical move, which isn't that special. I mean, it's only 10 base power more than Shadow Claw. You're gonna run it over Shadow Claw, but why especially would you run it? And that is, it prevents the target from switching out. I can Spirit Shackle, I can switch or U-turn into a Pokemon, set up, and just destroy lives. Destroy lives. I want to see, and this is giving away a little bit of my plans, but I want to see if I can bring this thing in on some walls. Spirit Shackle said walls, and switch straight into Beta Male or Hornet or Bop It, and just set up and destroy them. But enough of my plans. That'll give away what I plan on doing this season, huh? But anyway, its ability is Overgrow, which is at 1/3 or less of its max HP. This Pokemon's attacking stat is 1.5 times with grass attacks. That isn't that good. I mean, when are you going to be using that? Long Reach is a much better ability, though I'm not sure if I can use it. Long Reach means this Pokemon's attacks do not make contact with the target, which is pretty good, considering all the Rocky helmets that are going around nowadays. Well, they've always been going around, but you know what I mean. Admittedly, its stats aren't that notable. Its highest stat is attack at 107, and its speed is its lowest at 70. So really, it's not that good compared to, like, stat-wise. But honestly, it's all right. I originally wanted Mega Venusaur, as you know, and I also wanted Tangrowth, but those were both taken. So I decided Decidueye. Decidueye. Let's do it. Let's do it. Alright, next up, we have the Legend. Now, if you've ever watched, like, one of my videos, you know what I'm talking about. We were able to pick up the God in Pokemon form. The best Pokemon there is in League format. Speepy. We got Speepy. We got Speepy, boys. Now let me just tell you, this thing is so good. I love it to pieces. I drafted it my first season of any league ever, CSLL Season 1. And that, oh my god, it was so good. It carried me through that league to second place. Second place. I still haven't won a league. That wasn't my own league. I'm going to do it this season, though. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it with the help of Registeel, aka Speepy, with his cursing shenanigans. Now, a lot of people run, like, Stealth Rock, Thunder Wave, Seismic Toss, and that's all fine and dandy. That's pretty good. But in my opinion, that's way too passive. So I'm not going to be running that too often. What I am going to be running quite often, probably, however, is Curse Speepy. Curse Speepy has destroyed so many teams on the ladder, in league, in game. Nothing lives. Curse Speepy. Nothing lives. It destroys lives. And I know I've said destroys lives a lot, but I mean it every single time I say it, because Speepy is here. Speepy's gonna put in work. Now, let me actually talk about Speepy for a second. It gets 150 defenses, base 150 defense, base 150 special defense. That's really good. Like, it may not get the recovery it needs, but it doesn't need it because of these defenses. Nothing penetrates it. And you can't even Intimidate Switch on a Curse Speepy because it's got Clear Body, which prevents other Pokemon from lowering this Pokemon's stat changes. And if you ever are facing a low kick Pokemon, run Light Metal. The Pokemon's weight is halved. There you go. Have fun. No one's gonna ever run Light Metal. Why am I saying that? You can run Curse Speepy, well, I shouldn't say that. You can run Speepy two different ways. You can run it the basic way, with like Stealth Rock, Thunder Wave, Seismic Toss, and some other move, maybe like Earthquake or something. No. You gotta run Curse BP. Curse is my favorite move in all of Pokemon, like ever. And that's probably not that good. But I'll take it. I'll take it because Curse is so fun to use. I mean, Bulk Up is just better. Bulk Up is better because it's got plus attack, plus defense without the minus in speed. And Swords Dance is even better because it gets plus 2 attack. If Registeel got Swords Dance, woo boy. But it doesn't. It gets Curse. But Curse is still okay, you know? So, Speedy's going to be putting in a lot of work this season, and I'm going to make sure he does. I'm going to make sure he does. Moving on to number 8, we have another returning Wailord, our third returning Pokemon. Well, fourth, yeah. That is Beyblade the Hitmontop. Hitmontop is back, and honestly, I'll be quite honest with you, I'm kind of shaky about this pick. I'm not that confident in it. It's got Intimidate, and that's one of the main reasons I picked it, because Landorus Therian needs an Intimidate partner, and the Hitmontop's going to be that Intimidate partner, I suppose. And its other big reason for being picked is Rapid Spin, which is, you know, I needed that because I have 3 Defoggers. Decidueye, Landorus Therian, and Mega Latios, and not all of those want to be running Defog all the time. Plus, it's Defog. It'll get rid of my hazards. I don't want that. So I went for Rapid Spin. So, you know, Rapid Spin is just good and fine and dandy. But there's not much else that I want his Pokemon for. I might have wanted to pick up Hitmonlee instead, and I might trade for that at some point. Just saying. But let's talk about some positives. It's got 110 special defense, which is okay, but at 50 hit points, it's not going to be living much. I don't know why I'm talking bad about Hitmontop. I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. It's got close combat. It's got high jump kick, so it's got that really powerful fighting type stab. It's got Mach Punch, which means it gets that physical. It gets priority. Priority is what I'm trying to say. Jeez. It gets priority in that and Sucker Punch and even Bullet Punch if you really are scared of fairies or something. But it gets Rock Slide. I don't know. I'm really not feeling Hitmontop today, or yesterday for that matter, when I chose it. But, you know, it's fine. Wait, did I choose it yesterday? I don't know. Let's just move on to our last Pokemon before I get too disappointed in Hitmontop. This Pokemon I'm actually really excited to use. This is Blaze the Cinccino. Not even Cinccino, it's Cinccino. Whatever. It gets Skill Link. With like Cloyster almost. Well, not almost. It's like Cloyster. It gets Skill Link. It gets Tail Slap, it gets Bullet Seed, and it gets Rock Blast, which are all basically the same move but different typings. They hit 2 to 5 times in one turn, but with Skill Link, it'll always hit 5 times, so that's really powerful. You know, that's 125 base power in those 3 moves. But this is yet another Pokemon on my team that suffers from the 3-move slot syndrome. It's going to be running Rock Blast, it's going to be running Bullet Seed, it's going to be running Tail Slap. What else are you going to run? Going to run Aqua Tail, going to run Focus Blast, going to run Gunk Shot, going to run U-Turn. I love U-Turn. There's options there. But obviously it's going to be attacking physically most of the time. It has Sneasel stats. And what I mean by that is it has the exact same attack and exact same speed as Sneasel. 115 speed and 95 attack. Which isn't the most powerful, which is why you want to slap a Choice Band on this thing most of the time. You can also slap a Life Orb on it if you want to, you know, switch moves like that. Like, who does that, though? Obviously, Cinccino We're not going to be bringing it too often, but I feel like it's a worthwhile enough 6-point pick to the point where we can bring it. Like, we can bring it. It's not like one of those 1-point meme picks that you're never going to bring and you basically have an 8-mon team. No. We have a 9-mon team, which is still pretty short. You could have up to 12, but I'm gonna go with my 9-mon team. I'm confident in it, except for Hitmontop. I'm confident in it, and I'm confident in myself, and we are going to win this season of the MLBA. Now, before I end off this video, I have a little something special for you. This is our Week 1 matchup. We are facing Zilix, I hope I pronounced that right, Zilix of the Detroit Cats. This is like GBA analyst battle right here, huh? But anyway, he's got a pretty scary draft. He's got a Mega Lopunny, he's got a Zapdos, he's got an Empoleon, he's got an Amoonguss, he's got a Gardevoir, he's got a Crocodile, he's got an Emboar, he's got a Zygarde 10%, he's got a Frozlass, he's got a Gastron, he's got an Armaldo, and he's got a bloody Swadloon. Now, I'm not scared about Swadloon, let me just tell you that. I have a Bucephalon to take care of that. But what I am scared about is that Mega Lopunny. What I am scared about is that Gardevoir. What I am scared about is that Crocodile and Emboar and Zygarde 10%. Those are my big 5 fears right there. Obviously, he has a 12-mon draft, unlike us. But I have some creative answers. I've started building my team, and I have some answers for Mega Lopunny. I have some answers for Gardevoir. I have some answers for Crocodile. You know, I'm ready. Well, I'm not ready, but I'm semi-ready. I'm getting there. There's a few glaring weaknesses in this team I plan to exploit the hell out of, and I can't say what they are, but, you know, this is why I'm confident we are going to win. Zilix, I'm sorry, bud, but your best record here is going to be 10-2 because you're losing twice to me. Everyone in this league is going to lose to me. I'm that confident. I am ready. I am prepared. I am confident in my team. And more importantly, I am confident in myself. I've taken a small break from League, but I am coming back. And I am ready to really kick some butt and prove to the world that the Columbus Chew are better than the Wailords were. The Columbus Chew are ready, and we are going to win MLBA Season 3. That's fact at this point. Like, you can already write it down in the books that I've won. I'm that confident. I'll see you guys in the Week 1 Team Builder before Week 1 goes up. Week 1 Team Builder will go up on the... Will it? I believe it goes up, like... No, it can't. Okay, I'll put it on before Christmas then. But the actual battle itself will go up on the 26th. So be ready for that. I will see you guys then. See ya!